I said life's a little rough, too far from the sand. So when I got something to say, hell, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna beach till it's good.
What is going on, guys? This is Social Banter. Beach, baby. Cheers.
Got one in the hand. Let's go.
Yeah. So,
Salute.
Once again, I'm Dan Cruz.
Salute.
We have Melissa Cruz, my lovely wife, next to me as well. Say hi, baby.
Hey, baby.
Say hi to the listeners.
So, hi, everybody. We got a special guest here today. We put some hints on our website and our social media. Let's see if you guys guessed who it was. Who is it, babe?
The one, the only, the most sexiest redneck I've ever seen in my whole entire life.
Bob Dylan.
Something like that.
Bob Saget.
Everybody, give it up for Greg White Jr., guys. What's up, brother? How you doing today, man?
Dude, I'm rocking, man. I am so proud of you guys for doing this, man. It's almost like I'm bursting at the seams for you, man. And you know what? The fact that I'm one of your first, interviewees, if you will.
Hell yeah.
I'm just so proud of you guys.
Thank you,
Fantastic.
man. Thank you for being here, man. I know that you have a really busy schedule.
Joining us in our home, in our little home studio here tonight.
Yes.
This
after
is where
a great dinner
this
and
is where
some
dreams
drinks.
start. And talk about a great dinner, man. Oh my gosh. Pulled barbecue. Well, it wasn't necessarily barbecue, but Mississippi pot roast was beef, rice, baked potatoes in a cast iron skillet with all the fixins. That was something to start a podcast off with, for sure.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Full belly and a nice cold beer.
Yep.
Baby, what you drinking? Oh, man.
What am I always drinking? An old
she's
fashioned.
got that old fashioned on her.
I'm going to probably have to switch to wine.
Yeah?
Probably switch to the wine after this.
All right. Guys, we got a crazy show for you guys tonight, and we're also going to be playing some of Greg White Jr.'s brand new single, or actually album release.
Yeah,
he just released his album.
Brand new album, Flip Flop Cowboy Volume 2.
Hell yeah.
Now, you just released that this past week. We talked about it last week on our show. We let all the listeners
December
know.
December 1st was the official release date. There's a ton of things that go behind it, but when you're basically registering it for distribution, you have to pick one day. So it's really it's a simple discussion of, hey, what's the best day to this music is ready now. When's the best day to actually release it? And every once in a while, there's a ton of stuff that goes with behind an album release, but we're independent artists, so at the bottom line, you can discuss it all day, but the real answer is, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Just put it out there.
Exactly.
And then tell everybody it's out there, and that's the most important thing, is that it's available and that you let people know it's available. So
and what
there.
number album is this?
Album. So official album release is probably number 3. So the first album being Long Road, but then the second album being Flip Flop Cowboy. But the way me and the producer, Rob Schaefer,
shout out to Rob.
Big shout out to Rob Schaefer. Big Rob Schaefer.
He's not that big. He's not that big. If you've never seen him,
he's a big deal.
But yeah,
okay, he's a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, no. And so the way we decided we're going to do it this time was because we are independent artists. People get wrapped up in this is how this. Got to get that beer can. Got to get the beer can popped in. So how big industry gets into doing things, and now that we're in 2020, it's completely different. So the way it was in the 1990s, there's no relevance to what was happening then to what is happening now.
Oh, for sure.
That's big industry. We are not big industry. We are independent. So
exactly.
So it's basically get the music out there. Like,
Exactly.
That's it. You know, it's, I hate to say small time because it sounds like I'm down talking myself, but we're just independent. So it doesn't really matter how you trickle the information or content out to people, as long as you get it out there and then market the hell out of it. I mean, tell people it's there.
So where can they hear this music of yours?
Anywhere. Anywhere.
All platforms.
So
right?
all platforms.
Okay.
I would have to say that I think there's a few caveats with getting onto Pandora and that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So I don't think it's on Pandora, but Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, whatever. There's literally, I don't know, dozens of different, stores out there that are available. So
yeah, we've asked Alexa to play Greg White Jr. before, so it's that's pretty cool.
Does it do it?
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Oh, it's
It'll
badass.
do it.
Yeah, we like to just ask it funny questions sometimes.
God bless Alexa.
Listen, last week we even asked it to play our own podcast. I mean, come on, we wanted to hear it.
Of course, man. Social banter podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Super cool.
So
man.
you're talking about the difference between years. How did this year affect you musically? Obviously, you came out with an album, but otherwise you play live all the time.
Yeah.
So how did that affect you?
Well, I mean, 2020 affected me in a million different ways, but musically, it basically, so how you like to, deal with life is you get into a routine. You get into a routine, and a lot of times, and I'm a kind of an outside of the box thinker as it is. I'm a creative, and a true creative, but I'm also a creative that, does think business wise, know. So in some ways, I'm already an out of the box thinker because I like to think of, okay, what else can I do? Where else can I be? Where are the limits here for where I'm at in my particular, stage of my career? And, but 2020, basically threw everything about, your career, whatever stage it is, it threw it out the window. Like, that was it. Mm-hmm. So, for me, I found myself sitting in a situation where I was coming off of a long weekend kind of tour to the Keys. We had our end show was down in Marathon, Florida.
Yeah, it was pretty badass, wasn't it?
It was cool, and then we were coming back up, and so we were going down.
And this was right before COVID, right?
Right before.
Right.
So we're talking about right before it became like smack you across the face. Obvious, the country
You're
was
not leaving
like,
your house. You're wearing
it's
masks.
it's a pandemic.
Yep.
People are getting sick and people are dying, right? And but it was starting to be realized while we were doing this tour.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of one of those things where we're just coming off this really nice, small tour, it was, like I said, long weekend kind of tour. I think we did like Wednesday to Sunday.
How many shows?
We did like 7 shows.
Gotcha.
Nice.
I
Okay.
think, in a 5-day period.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice,
it
nice.
was decent. It was pretty good. We set ourselves up pretty well for that one, but we're coming right off of that,
Right.
and then we get back, and for the next week, hey, I'm sorry, we got to cancel. Hey, I'm sorry, we got to cancel. Hey, I'm sorry, we got to cancel. For the next 3 months, I'm sitting here going like, we're in Florida, it's our busiest season.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Because you guys are full-time performers. For those of you who doesn't know Greg White Jr., that's what he does. This is full-time job, day in, day out, breathe in, breathe out. It's all music.
That's it.
So.
That's it. There's some side things I can do and, have fun with, having fun with fitness, the fitness industry, and doing like construction and stuff like
Your
that.
hobbies,
but we were talking about like, very, very side, very, very part-time stuff, but full-time, especially in this season, we're full-blown music. And then COVID hits. coming off a very successful tour. We're on our high horse, if you will. We are on our high horse. And then the next week or two is just cancel. And, it's, how it affects you is basically when you're going at that tempo, when you're going at that rate and you get stopped in your tracks, it's a whole world of change. It's like going from, an 80-degree Florida day and jumping into 40-degree water. It's a completely different change, and then you have to stay in that water. That kind of stuff is just cold.
Yeah, you have to.
And so you kind of have to sit back. You have to, in a way, get comfortable with not rolling at that pace. And then eventually you have to rethink, like, what's going on? What am I going to do? Whoa, I just lost, a full schedule of gigs. I mean, concerts.
Right. All
small
over.
shows.
Yep.
Like, all
not
kinds
just
of
the
stuff.
Tampa Bay area. You're outside of that area.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
you're doing some traveling.
It's just lost. One thing lost after the next thing lost. And then, so you sit back and you kind of take it all in. And then, obviously, one part of me could sit back and cry,
for sure, yeah.
Cry about it. And I could have, and I probably did at one
At some point, I'm sure you did.
I for sure did.
I'm
like,
sure you
absolutely,
did. Yes.
like sit back and go, oh my God,
now,
this
let
is
me ask you
happening
this.
to me. Or,
did it happen to you
on.
like it happened to me a little bit as well, that when all these cancellations started happening, you're seeing restaurants shutting down, all that stuff. To me, bro, I just honestly just felt like a kick in the royal balls, bro. That shit felt like it was a gnarly kick in the balls that they just put them right up on my throat, and I had to swallow them back down, bro.
Yeah, there were certain points that absolutely felt like a kick in the nuts, man. I was, especially when you're losing those big money gigs that pay your bills, the real gigs, the gigs everybody wants,
exactly,
the ones that we had earned and they're getting canceled from underneath your feet. That feels like a kick in the balls. The other things, I have to say that I did feel this for a second. We were going so fast. We were going so fast and going so much that it almost felt like I was forced onto a vacation. So a vacation was kind of forced onto me. So it's going too fast
for you sometimes.
I can keep up. I can keep up. But when you get at that speed, you want to keep moving at that speed,
of
right?
Of course, you got the momentum going.
So when all of a sudden you are forced to slow down from no will of your own, you're sitting there going like, okay, like I got nothing to do. What the hell am I supposed to do? What the hell am I supposed to do with myself? Right? I've got, it's not like the bill stopped coming. You know what I mean? It's not like, I just all of a sudden stopped having all of these goals for my career or anything, so it's kind of like that where, I was kind of forced into this somewhat vacation mode. And I guess, in a way, it was me kind of taking a step back, realizing what was happening. Yes, I felt anger. These things are getting ripped away from me, no fault of my own, through something I didn't understand. Confusion. I think we all felt confusion. A little fear.
Oh, absolutely.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, when your big money makers take
your livelihood is being taken away.
Absolutely. And
your
so
health
I had
is
to
being jeopardized too.
I had to sit back and, go, how am I going to process this? Because, in a way, you're forced to slow down. You're put into a state of what the heck is going on. But not only that, how am I going to adapt, right? So how am I going to sidestep this and move into, a different direction?
How are you going to survive? How are you going to keep paying those bills?
Yeah, you're absolutely in survivor mode at a certain point. You're in a survival mode at a certain point, and you're going, the money's got to keep coming, right? I've still got goals. Like, how are we going to do? How are we going to adapt? So, I started, paying attention to what my mentors were saying and paying attention to what other artists were doing. And we tried the live thing. And that went really well for a while. That was very therapeutic, I think, for a lot of people, not only people that, follow me closely, but, for myself as well, knowing that there's still an audience online and things like that.
I think that's the biggest thing too, not only for your
Yeah.
mental health, but the audience, like the people out here, all of us, not being able to go out anymore and see all this, not going out on a Friday night to be able to
100%.
check out what's going on, have a drink, listen to some live music.
Absolutely.
So for you guys to be able to do that live for us, I think that was a big deal.
Yeah, I think it was a big deal for not just the audience, but also for the artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I know for me, it was nice to connect with people. And, obviously when COVID started happening, like there was a lot of things, changing in my life, So it wasn't just COVID, but it was nice to know, look, I still have an audience, even though I can't go perform at a venue.
Right.
I still have
They're
people
still backing you and supporting you.
Yeah, and which brings up a completely, another side of what COVID did and the kind of the change that it had on my overall viewpoint of being an entertainer, was that people actually wanted to listen, and there was something that I had to say that they wanted to hear. And whether that was positivity, whether that was being there for them as an individual, with Messenger or whatever it was, whether or not it was, I had something motivating to say or, whatever, I realized that my career is not just country music. It's a lot deeper than that. Country music might be the vehicle of what I have to deliver, but what I have to deliver is, all of these other things that people were needing, and they pulled it from me, and it was just it was nature.
Well, you connect with your fans anyway.
Yeah.
You connect with them whether you're performing on stage or you're on Facebook or any of these platforms, you are connecting with them.
Absolutely.
And you respond to them.
And I started to realize this about my career before COVID happened, but COVID made it blatantly obvious that country music wasn't the be all end all for me in my career. It was, the connection I was able to have. Which I guess we kind of got off on a little bit of a tangent, but but that's definitely
raw.
Yeah, that's definitely how it happened. And to go back to your original question, that's how 2020 has kind of affected my career. And it started before COVID for sure. COVID made it blatantly obvious that country music was going to be the vehicle for whatever I had to deliver to people. And now I'm kind of in this, well, what direction do I go with my shows, and all that other kind of stuff. Right. It's been an interesting year, to say the least.
So what actually got you into music? What got you into country music?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's just who.
Because you were in the military before, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, but country music has.
Thank you for your services again. Just so you know, once again, every time I see you, I say the same fucking thing.
You're
but
welcome,
thank you
man.
for fighting for us, bro.
And thank you to you guys, and thank you to everybody out there listening that supports our troops.
Yeah.
And supports our military, because if you know one thing about Greg White Jr., I'm all America and our troops, man.
America.
And our veterans, man.
Get her done.
God bless you guys out there. If you've served this country, thank you so much. If you're the family of people who've served this country, thank you so much.
Yes.
And if you support our troops, thank you so much.
So coming from the military, were you doing music before that or just after that?
Oh, no, yeah, no. So I mean, to say what made you country music is to say, who are you, Greg White Jr.?
Exactly,
that's literally the same, almost the same question, So when I was younger, my dad listened to, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, classic, good old classic country,
Oh,
yeah.
Country and Western.
Gotcha,
Oh,
gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha.
And, and I picked up on it. And I'm not really sure if it was because, that's what my dad listened to, but my mom listened to like, very, traditional Baptist hymns.
Okay.
And, and while I was a Baptist Christian church going boy, I liked a little bit of the wild side of like country Western music. I liked
The Wild Wild West,
there's more music element to it rather than it just being hymns being played on a, an organ, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Organ or piano.
It was a little bit more fun, and so,
when you put a rhythm session, it makes a big difference.
For sure.
Wait, a rhythm what?
Yeah.
A rhythm session. Section.
Section.
I love
Listen, I knew there was going to be one time I'd get you tonight.
but
Sorry.
It is a rhythm session, I guess. But but I guess the thing is that I connected to it, and that's the farthest thing back that I can go to is to say, all right, my dad was into country Western music. My mom was, into Baptist hymns. You know what I mean? It was all the, pull out your hymnals and turn it to page 140. You know what I mean? And,
Sitting in the pew.
awesome.
Yep.
yeah, so I just took to the country music, I guess. And, even from a young age, I just remember, turning it to country music radio every chance that I got, and these people were larger than life to me, so and I really enjoyed the songs, and I was always from the earliest that I can possibly remember, always very creative and very music driven, so, I did go to a Christian school, a private Christian school. And, one class that we had to take every single day along with gym class was, choir.
Oh,
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
wait,
was
back up 1 second. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school?
Oh, in Virginia is
Okay.
where I grew up, and I guess the school.
Okay, so
What part of
Virginia.
Virginia? What part of Virginia?
Chesapeake, but I went to Portsmouth Christian School.
All
Okay.
right.
Which is,
Shout
I
out
guess,
to
what the-
Virginia people.
Virginia.
You guys got a good one over here.
Man. I know.
Thank you for him.
So go ahead.
He gave me up. Yeah, and so anyway, so choir was definitely a part of my everyday. Singing was a part of my everyday. Music was a part of my everyday, and obviously it was very religious oriented. However, my love for country music never stopped. So, one pretty funny story from when I was younger was, my mom, I had a clock radio over my bed. And I was in a bunk bed with my little brother, so he stayed on the bottom bunk and I stayed on the top bunk. And there's a clock radio like right there on this tiny little shelf right next to my bed, and it's the old fashioned ones, nothing,
nothing
nothing
fancy,
special,
the little
nothing, but it does have a
brown
radio.
one
It did
with
have
the-
a little
yeah,
radio feature and a snooze feature,
That's awesome.
Still my favorite feature of an alarm clock.
Hell yeah,
snooze.
dude. You can smack it.
Yep, snooze, and it's big. The snooze button's so big.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
You
why
could
is,
not
why
miss
is,
it then.
why is the snooze button so big? It's like,
They knew that was the focal point. Absolutely.
So,
They need to make it big enough so you can smack it.
Yeah.
If you can
yeah,
see it.
if it's this, it's literally this tiny. Do you remember having to set one of those those old ass alarm clocks?
Oh my god,
Yeah.
yes.
The hour and minute buttons are
The
this
multiple-
tiny.
yeah, and
If you
hit
made
multiple
the
buttons at
It
once
always
to
had to
get
use
into the-
toothpicks
yes.
for
and
it.
if you made the snooze button that small, you just get the hell out of
Yeah.
bed.
Anyways,
Exactly.
You just
yeah.
get out of bed.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even.
Or you throw it out the window
Yeah,
and then go
exactly.
back to bed.
So I do have an alarm clock with a radio feature. My mom has it always set to the traditional Christian hymns, station, with like focus on the family and stuff like, those.
Right.
Well, that shit really woke you up, huh?
Well, here's the thing. So I would be going to bed.
Yeah.
So 7:30, my regiment, very strict. I live from military family. Dad was in the Navy. Bedtime, 7:30. That was in book at 7:30. In bed at 7:30 with a book, lights, out at 8. No questions asked. You don't know any different. There's the regimen, dude.
Hey, private pile.
Straight up. So it was 7:30 in bed with a book. 8 o'clock lights out. Done.
Oh, shit.
So when 8 o'clock lights out happens,
Come a little bit closer to the mic.
yeah. So when
He's worried about his laughing.
No,
He's going to go over the charts here.
when 8 o'clock lights out happened, it was I would switch the
station?
I would switch the
You'd change the
station,
station.
to country music and put the volume all the way down to 1. Right? And so I would listen to country music falling asleep, and it'd always be there would always be a sleep function. So in an hour, the radio would shut off, but then I would never turn it back to the Christian station in the morning. But I would wake up, get ready, go to school, and when I came home from school, my little alarm clock radio was set back to the Christian station. My mom knew.
She knew your trick.
My mom knew for a fact I was listening to the country music station and would change it back to the traditional Christian station. Yeah. So
did your mom and dad ever talk about that?
Not really. I mean, it was two very different things growing up.
Gotcha.
It was, my dad was military. He didn't really go to church with us, that kind of stuff. And he had a very structured weekend because obviously he was so busy during the week and stuff.
Right.
So, but my mom was very much like there all the time, and a lot of times we were homeschooled, especially early on. But then even when we would go to, like Portsmouth Christian School or whatever, she would be there picking us up and that kind of stuff, and would hang out, So my mom was very much a very present parent in my life.
Right.
My dad, not so much, that kind of thing. Especially when he was on, deployments and things like that. Yeah.
Not
so
leave,
he's out doing med tours and that kind of stuff. So my mom was very much, the present one.
Right.
So,
Gotcha.
And my dad sure as hell wasn't listening to, Christian hymns. We always had like a big backyard, and he was always out in the shed and doing like lawn projects and doing this project and that project and stuff. And he was listening to, classic rock, southern rock, country and western, all that kind of stuff. And, so he sure as hell wasn't listening to Christian hymns,
Oh, that's hilarious.
So now, are you all self-taught? Did you have vocal lessons, guitar, or did you really, how did you get into that?
So, no, I don't, so vocally, the lessons were choir.
Okay.
Perfect segue into a question like that. Choir was, obviously a, very normal part of my life, going to a Christian school and stuff. So you had to practice all the time, and I learned very early on that I had something vocally, in just the way that I was able to perform at school, so it was a decent sized school.
Right.
And we did have other, and we'd have choir competitions and this and that. And then they would pick out from the choir group, they would pick out individual vocalists.
Oh, to be the lead
and
on
and do things like that. And so they would.
You were always the lead, right?
They would pull me from.
Of course.
They would pull me from the crowd.
Of course you were.
They would pull me from the crowd, yeah. And, so it gave me confidence early on that at least to some extent, I knew how to sing, Did
you always have that country twang in your voice?
I have no idea, dude.
I was always wondering.
I have no idea.
Like from the first time that you started in choir, did you always have that twang? Like, you know what I mean?
No, I would imagine.
I would imagine. He's listening to that wrong music. It's not the right music.
He listened to that secular music.
Yeah.
He talking about music and honky tonks and stuff. Well, they don't even
Hit you
know.
on that hand with that ruler.
They're dipping and spitting and cussing and fishing. They ain't got time for that. We're praising Jesus over here.
Oh Oh my god, that's hilarious. That is too funny.
No, I don't know. I probably did not have.
He's from Virginia. Yeah, I'm sure he's had some kind of accent the entire time.
And I was born in Texas. I mean, there's got to be something in there, right? There's got to be something in there. But I 100% believe that you're a product of your environment. And I do not remember as a youth, to a bunch of people talking like,
the way you talk?
Hicks around me and stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't really think that started coming out until, I don't even know, maybe, 12, 13, 14 years old. Because I started spending more and more time in Florida during the summers and stuff, and I really got into, when you talk about like, okay, so my love for country music and I lived in the suburbs in Virginia. It wasn't the country.
You weren't out in the open on a farm.
No, but I was the kind of kid that mom and dad said, get out of the house when you got home after school on Friday, and then you weren't allowed back in the house until Sunday night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think a lot of us were like that when we were younger.
Yeah,
this generation.
There wasn't no technology. There wasn't no video games. There wasn't no nothing. It was like, get the hell out of the house. Yeah. And unless you got to poop, like...
And even if it's like
there's some trees over here, and my mom's throwing me toilet paper from the back patio window. Here's some toilet paper. Go over there. That kind of stuff.
That's why everybody asks me, why do I like peeing on trees so much? And that's the reason why.
We did. That's all it was. I mean,
I was always outside my toilet.
Yeah. So anyway, no,
so much easier
I honestly
for you
don't.
Men. So much easier.
Dude, life was so much more country when I was coming down to Florida during the summer times. And so, for the sake of everybody listening, every summer we would come down to Florida and spend time with my mom's family. Every summer, since I can remember.
Right.
So, and when we'd come down to Florida, we're talking about like, we wouldn't wear shoes, we wouldn't really wear shoes, like we'd go play,
no shoes,
sandlot, no shirts, no problems, and we go play sandlot football barefoot with the kids who lived in a trailer park across the street. We jumped on a trampoline 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
We went
with
out
the soap and water.
We went out in the back.
Crazy out there.
We went out in the back field. My grandfather lived on, probably like, I don't know, 7-8 acres or something like something to that extent. Horses, these crazy ass geese that would chase you around and bite you in your ass,
geese?
Geese, yeah. No, like
vicious.
Geese, that kind of stuff.
Listen,
and they are vicious, dude.
Listen, my granny, my mom's best friend had a farm, and she had ostriches.
Yeah.
But that things bite too, but I didn't know about geese.
And then you got, geese biting you in the ass, and then mama goat, it's like always stalking around, you got baby goat, and then every once in a while mama goat comes up and pops you a good one and knocks you down on the ground. So but we were always out in the pasture. We were always digging for, arrowheads and stuff like that.
Geese is out in the pasture.
Yeah, dude. No, straight up, man. Like this is country, and it was way more country when it came down to Florida. We always went to horse camp. We'd be riding horses and, doing whatever it was. We're living the country lifestyle. I cannot say
that's pretty badass.
That my country lifestyle or love for a country lifestyle came from living in Virginia. I cannot say that at all.
It's here.
It came from...
because you were in the suburbs. You were in the...
Yeah.
Right.
But when we did outdoorsy stuff, and like I said, they'd kick us out.
It was still country. It was still country.
I would say that's still suburbs.
Yeah.
We lived at, when we came to Florida, that was country. We lived in the country. We did country things. We listened to country music. Everything was country. We knew country people. We knew rednecks. We knew bikers. Like, that's the edgy country redneck lifestyle that was going on, and I learned to love it, man. So I remember early on, and this was, you say, where did your love for country come from, and all this like early on. I remember asking my mom, when I grow up, can I be a redneck?
Oh, all right. Like, that's a profession, right?
You know, like some
Like, that's a
kids are like,
career.
oh, I want to be a police officer. I want to be a firefighter.
Ray just wants to be a
Mommy,
redneck."
when I grow up, I want to be a redneck.
Oh, here you are
Well,
now,
here
brother.
I am. Got my wish, I reckon.
There you go. And the American flag. That's your signature.
And he's got all his teeth, though.
Yeah,
I
he still has all his teeth. Yes. Yes. This guy is
Still got all
something
my
else.
teeth, man. So
Growing up, going to the military, and then after the military, is that really when your career started?
yeah, you know,
Music-wise.
so growing up, it was singing and writing poems, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from grade school, you know, I went through a time where poetry was a big thing. You know, I don't know if it's like third or fourth grade or whatever. So, you know, but I loved it. I took to it. I read, like, what was it, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow and, you know, various other, you know, poets, and I took to that kind of writing, you know, and I can't say that I was really any good at it. I did take to that style of writing, more poetry and less more of a novel type thing. And, you know, and I did okay with it. You know, in grade school, I think I won a couple poetry contests and stuff. And I don't know if that's any big accomplishment,
cool.
but I do remember that being the case. And, you know, so it was really just knowing that I knew how to sing. My mom would tell me that, you know, we'd be going down the road and she'd be listening to the radio, and I'd be listening to the music on the radio, staring out the window and singing my own words.
Okay.
Like, so I wouldn't be singing the words to the song playing, but I would be listening
Coming
to
up
the
with your
music
own
and
lyrics.
coming
You were
up with my lyrics
freestyling.
to
You were
that song.
freestyling pretty much.
Basically.
Yeah.
100%.
Gotcha.
You know, and then I knew how to sing, so that's kind of what it developed into. And then for a certain extent of time, I remember just singing, so there wasn't really any songwriting going on. And then when I got into like college is when the songwriting picked up like a full bore, and I wrote a ton of stuff, you know, that I still have, you know, I still have those notes.
You went to
Right.
college before the military?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I tried a couple times.
And again, this is Greg White we're talking to. So.
And, you know, so I tried college, and then I tried college again, and then went to the military. And then finally while I was still in the military, then I tried college for the, you know, last time, and I was actually successful and got my bachelor's degree. But
Yeah, buddy.
well, yeah. So
I didn't know this.
Yeah,
So what is your bachelor's
Yeah.
degree in?
music production.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, yeah, and then so it was like college came around, I was 18, 19 years old. I started writing a ton, you know, and I was still singing. But I didn't play the guitar. Didn't play guitar at all.
See, and I can't picture that because
Yeah.
just
What
seeing you
got
up
you?
there all
Yeah.
the time.
When did you pick it up then?
Guitar?
Yeah.
So I got my first guitar when I was 22. I got an Ibanez for my birthday.
An acoustic?
An acoustic,
Okay.
yeah. My girlfriend at the time got me an acoustic guitar, an Ibanez.
Aw.
Beautiful sunburst, yeah. You know, beautiful sunburst orange
That's
Ibanez
a nice
guitar.
freaking gift.
It was, and
talk about
and
my
I
gift
did.
later.
I messed around with it. You know, I messed around with it, and I learned a couple things on it. But I sure as hell wouldn't say that I was, you know, I was playing guitar. You know, I wasn't.
Right.
You know, and
You
then
were making
actually,
noise.
like, you know, I just let it go for a while and just, you know, sang and, you know, wrote a lot. You know. And if I needed a guitar player, I went and found one, you know, but it never really worked out because I had a voice that mimicked. I did not have my voice, meaning that if I was going to sing anything, I had to have somebody to mimic. If it was Alan
Gotcha.
Jackson, if it was George Strait, if it
You
was Garth
sounded like
Brooks,
them.
I sounded like them. But if you tried to get me to sing something new, I was like a lost dog in the woods. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I sounded like. My self-confidence went to 0. Like, I could sing full bore in choir.
Right.
Because I knew I excelled there. But get me in the church congregation, and I'm sitting here. Like, I had no idea where I was. I had no confidence whatsoever, which makes no sense whatsoever. But it does make sense in the fact that I had no idea where my voice was.
You had to come into
as
your
an
own.
individual.
Yeah.
So
You were still trying to find yourself.
very much so. So if you put me up there on the karaoke stage, I could nail it.
Yeah, for sure.
But other than
you were
that,
following
don't ask me
something.
to sing. Don't ask me to sing something I wasn't familiar with or anything new. You know, I try to get together with these musicians and try to communicate what it was that I was trying to accomplish with a musical idea that I had, lyrically and melodically, and I had no idea how to communicate to them. And sometimes they'd like pick up on that. I had no idea what I was doing. And they'd try to play something, and they'd be like, well, sing your lyrics to this and see if it works. And I would try to sing it, and it sounded god-awful. It was the worst thing ever. So, anyway, so I went from that and then, started picking up the guitar seriously when I joined the military. And then I was writing and singing.
So while you were in the military, you started learning how to play the guitar.
Not only did I start learning how to play the guitar, but I also learned how to find my own voice.
In the military.
When I was in the military.
So self-taught, in the military.
Yeah.
What branch
Writing,
were you in again?
singing.
Navy.
In the Navy.
Go Navy!
The
Booyah!
Sailors. The Sailors.
Booyah! Sorry, gotta say it more manly. Booyah!
I don't think that came out exactly how you wanted it to.
Booyah!
He's still a sailor.
Booyah! Okay. My cousin busts on me all the time for that stuff, and I just have to kind of like, yeah, okay.
Hey, I got one of my boys, he's Air Force, and shout out to Chris Murrow out there. He's something else. He showed me some pictures of the stuff that he has done out there, man, and it's crazy the stuff that you have to go through. But how did you, how were you able to, while you're in the military, how were you able to learn how to play guitar and find your voice and be in the military? Like, isn't that like a lot of stuff?
Oh, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff.
And
It gets broke down to
college,
being
too.
super simple, and they did happen at different phases.
Gotcha.
So when I first got into the military, and I'll try to be as simple as possible about this. When I first got into the military, I was stationed over in San Diego. I got together with a vocal coach. He taught me how to use my own voice. But he was giving me vocal lessons and also giving me vocal exercises to do on my free time. Mm-hmm. So by doing that and being able to just exercise and hearing my own voice only, I actually was able to find my voice and then be able to translate that to singing other people's music. And also singing my own.
That makes sense. Okay.
The second thing is that I learned how to play guitar on deployment. Because you got nothing else to do. You're at work.
Going on. Yeah.
You're at work, and then you're not at work for 7 days a week.
Yep.
And I would literally be at work for 12 hours and then not be at work for 12 hours.
Oh, okay.
And the only other thing that I did was eat and sleep and work out. So there's still plenty of other time for activities. Not that much time, but I was also an avionics technician, which means that there was plenty of time for other activities because we're not as busy as the other shops were.
Gotcha.
So in any case, that's where I really was able to find the time, especially when I was on night shift. So we would work from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And there was downtime.
Right.
You know, you had to do stuff, yes, but there was downtime. And we were able to and I had other guitarists in my shop as well. So I had a Takamine Jasmine, so Japanese.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I wanted to take that one on the boat because I figured if saltwater was going to fudge anything up,
bro, you can say it. You can say
it might
fuck
as
you.
well. It might as well.
It's okay.
I think on all of our platforms, we're good with that language. Let's hope.
It might as well be the $250 Takamine and not the $700 Ibanez or the $1,000 Martin.
Exactly.
Like whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like it was the least expensive of my guitars, and I'm like, but it didn't mess anything up.
Gotcha.
But it was a good sounding guitar, and I was able to tote it around. I was able to keep it in my shop, and there were other guitar players in my shop, and so we would, probably for hours a night, we'd be able to, play and practice the guitar, and have some fun. So, and that's the first time after going through my first deployment, I was able to play the guitar well enough that I was actually able to do a talent contest on the aircraft carrier.
Oh, that's cool.
What?
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
That's cool. I had no clue that they would do talent shows.
Yeah. Another thing that helped me play the guitar was, you're always looking for things to do on deployments. Yeah. And so schedule was typically lighter on Sundays, that kind of stuff. So we would basically get together immediately after night shift, and we got together in an open area, and it was me and just a couple other wannabe musicians, and we got together in an open area with our instruments, and we would just play whatever we felt like.
Did you have a full band?
No.
Okay.
We're talking about if there were like 3 guitars,
y'all
and
just
played.
Yep.
Somebody was playing the bongos. But yes, I know the difference between bongos and congas.
Thank you. You see? My voice will back me up.
Another musician.
They'd bring it. And the thing was that I started buying new instruments to play on. I'd bring them on the ship. I'd buy them on deployment. I'd buy them in Hong Kong. I'd buy them in Guam. I'd buy them in Australia. I'd buy them in Korea.
Man,
remember, he is talking about instruments.
Yeah.
Instruments,
yes.
not hookers. Instruments, not hookers.
Musical instruments is what I was buying. Yeah, so I would buy them. I would bring them on the ship, and then so we started this little group where musicians would come together, and then because we made such a big thing about it, more musicians were coming. So before we knew it, we were practicing multiple times. I mean, we're talking like I was almost practicing daily, playing the guitar. So I very quickly adapted to being able to sing and play at the same time, especially when I get a hold of something. Like, it's always the most frustrating for me to start something because I suck at it and I hate sucking at it. I hate it. It is like the most awful poison.
Yeah.
But when I start to get it, when I start to get my grip on that wall and go, holy shit, I can possibly do this. That's it. It's game over. I'm literally going to get this thing. Like, it's good.
Yeah,
we're good from there, dude. And I was focused and I was going to do it if it killed me. And so I was not only, practicing in my shop while we were, doing, on off times when we weren't, actively doing our jobs. I wasn't just playing with this group of musicians on Sundays. I was on my own, like hammering, so the matter of time that I was putting in to those, 6 months. And then after one of the first deployments, when we got off of that kind of routine, we moved into going back to base. And we just kept it going. And that's actually how the first band that I ever put together started.
And so now, fast forwarding a little bit, how did Florida Country come about? Who is Florida Country? What's Florida Country?
Yeah, so Florida Country was actually kind of a development of realizing nobody at that particular time, or at least not a lot of people really cared about the name Greg White Jr. Like nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I'd be like, oh, you know, who do you want to put on the billboard? Who do you want to put on the marquee? Who do you want to put on the flyer? And I'd be like, oh, it's Greg White Jr. Okay, well, what's the name of your band? Oh, it's Greg White Jr. Who gives a shit who Greg White Jr. is? Like, you know, and that's kind of the realization I came to, because especially when you first start a career like this, you have to get over yourself.
Yeah.
You do, man. Like, it's just a realization that
it's not
every
all
single
about
person
you in a
out
band.
Dude, no, it's not all about you, period.
Exactly.
It's not all about you, period. And that's just something that I think every person has to get through. You know, it's a little phase, and I don't know if it's...
That's a good message to send out there, because a lot of people need to learn that.
It might be longer phases than others, and there's a lot of reasons why I would argue this, but you always have to get over yourself. Like, you always have to get over yourself. And it might take you some time. It might be something that you get over pretty quickly. Really just depends on your character. It took me a little bit of time to get over myself. You know, that Greg White Jr. isn't the one that's going to attract all the attention, that seeing my name is going to all
even
of a
though
sudden,
I try to sell his shirt
fire
and his underwear.
People's souls.
Yeah.
Like,
I try to
cares.
sell his
his
clothing right after the shows. I try to put bits on them.
Everybody cares about the size of my biceps more than my name. They're like, dude, you're jacked. What's your name again? You know?
But the women are always looking at your ass.
Yeah. Well, man,
let's
is
just
that?
get out there, okay?
Hey, this is America's ass, all right?
It's not the biceps. They might be nice, but from what I've gathered at plenty of the shows that I've seen.
Yeah, whatever. You're checking him out.
You're
checking him out. You're checking him out.
But
I
again,
see
that
how
goes
it
back
is.
to his weightlifting.
That's not it, dude.
know?
And quite honestly, you can't walk into New York City and not be impressed by the Empire State Building. Okay?
That's true. Touche.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I tell you what,
Everybody-
she tells me I got the Puerto Rican ass, but she's like, that white boy's got an ass for sure, man.
Yeah, you don't see an ass like that on a white boy.
Oh my gosh. No, but how Florida Country came about was specifically that reason. I had to get used to the fact that Greg White Jr. was gonna be down here, and that I needed to build a brand that people could immediately relate to.
Exactly.
When you go into a restaurant and you sit there and look at you look at the sign or the marquee, or you look at the little A-frame thing, and it says, live music tonight, Greg White Jr., 6 to 9. They go, oh, great! They have live music tonight.
Yeah.
They don't give a damn
they don't care
that my
what
name is on
yeah.
that A-frame. They don't care. But when you look it down at the A-frame, that same exact A-frame, and you go, live music tonight, Florida Country, 6 to 9 p.m.
Yeah, that's a brand.
What happens?
It clicks right
Oh,
away.
there's a
you
band
already
out
know.
there. Who is this?
What's Florida Country?
Yeah.
Maybe you're Florida Country, and you go, Florida Country? I'm Florida Country.
Exactly.
What's this about?
I need to go check that out.
Question marks, wheels spinning. I want to know more about what's going on here.
Yeah.
Right? So it was, so again, to bring up Rob Schaefer, big shout out, Rob.
Rob.
Big Rob. So, and not that he's big. Okay.
Big Rob.
That he's a big
Rob.
deal. All right.
Big deal, Rob.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So anyway, we had a conversation about it. I go, you know what, man? Like, I've been using this phrase, Florida Country, a little bit more frequently.
That's a beer burps already.
It was. I've been using this phrase, Florida Country, a little bit more, often. What do you think about it? Like, do you think this is something we should stick with? People seem to be engaging with this more, right? So they were engaged. I started noticing that as we brought in the Florida Country
brand
slogan, you know what I mean? At first, I called it no more than a slogan. People were engaging with Florida. Oh, Florida Country. I'm Florida Country. Share this. This is Florida Country.
Right.
Florida Country is
Hashtag
cool.
Florida
I'm going to share it
Country.
with my friends because I'm Florida Country and so are you. So check this out.
Yep.
And I started seeing that and I was like,
Became a community, right?
I'm like,
yeah.
Greg White Jr. is about to take a back burner to Florida Country.
Yeah.
Because, again, you can walk in and go, Florida Country, is he talking about me?
Exactly.
You know? But if you walk in there and you go see Greg White Jr. and you don't know who the hell I am, that don't mean anything to you. Nothing. You know? So that's kind of how Florida Country came about. We started realizing the engagement on social media was happening. The
engagement with the audience,
movement,
the fans.
yeah, the
with
movement
the
of
audience.
it.
Yeah.
It was certainly happening a lot more. It was certainly more potent, and we just realized Florida Country was something that was going to be, the headliner, if you will. You know what I mean? And started using that. It was going to be the brand, and
That
it
is
has
badass,
been, and
man.
people dig it. You know.
All right. Well, we have 2 more weeks left in the year. About 2 more weeks left in the year.
Yeah.
How are
pretty
you
much.
finishing out 2020? What do you got for the next 2 weeks? Obviously,
What's on
we
the
talked
schedule?
about you just released a new album.
Yep.
But you're
yep.
gonna be out and
Flip-Flop
about.
Cowboy Volume 2.
And where
Y'all
can they
check
hear it?
out, man. Anywhere you can download and
platforms.
stream it
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. I don't think we're on Pandora. I know we're not on Touch Tunes, which that's a problem with me. I'm gonna have to figure out how to
It's all
get
good,
that
bro.
thing though.
It's all good. I know people.
But yeah, so
I do
yeah.
like that app when you go out.
iTunes, Amazon, all that kind of stuff. And we're not on Touch Tunes. We got to figure that problem out.
Nah,
That's a
it's-
problem.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so what do you have over these next 2 weeks to finish out the year? Do you have anything special?
Not, let's
Playing
see.
New Year's Eve, maybe?
Yeah, New Year's Eve, I'm at Tiki Docks in Riverview from, I think, 8 to midnight.
Yeah, and we got some duos coming out too.
Yeah, this weekend, back at Salt Shack on the 18th. I think that's Friday. Thursday, we're at Tampa Bay Brewing Company doing an album release party in
that's the one in
Ybor
Ybor,
City.
yeah.
Yep, so Tampa Bay Brewing Company, Ybor City. That's from 5 to 8. And then again, another album release party in downtown Tampa on Friday night at Salt Shack. That's from 6 to 10. And then got a private thing on Saturday, and then Sundays I hang out with the boy.
All right. That sounds
Oh,
awesome.
That's a great Sunday fun day to wrap up the weekend.
Dude, you know all about a Sunday
I
fun
do
day,
it. I
dude.
love it. I
Fun
love
day.
it. We will do that again
You guys had your I don't know, what would you call it?
The Florida
an
Country.
inauguration.
The inaugural
too.
time.
The inaugural Sunday fun day
Yeah.
with Greg White Jr. this past Sunday.
No, that was definitely, we had a great time with his
Made
little
some
man
stuff.
too.
Peppers.
Oh yeah.
Played
The
in
pool
the pool.
was really cold.
Really
but
cold.
We got in there. We enjoyed the hell out of it. We had so much fun.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun. Thank you again for coming out, brother. Baby, what kind of news do you have? Do
We
you
will
have any?
definitely do this again. Obviously, this short period of time wasn't long enough to talk to
Oh
Greg.
yeah, for sure. We will have him
Dude,
back.
I knew
so
that
much
was
fun,
gonna
man.
happen,
We
though.
knew it was
We
going to
knew it.
happen. We're
We
going to
will
get in
have
here.
him
We're going
back
to banter.
with,
We're going to have some fun.
Oh yes, we will.
We
have the
will have him
band
back with Rob Schaefer and
yes,
John Jay.
we definitely have to do
'Cause
that.
I hear,
John and Rob. I tell you what, man, those guys are a
The
hoot.
dynamic duo
Every
over
once in a
there.
while, every
We're
once
gonna move
every
that
once in a
one to
while, I have
bar
the pleasure
10,
of
though.
getting them.
Yes,
yeah.
that one is gonna be at Bar 10. Shout out to Bar 10. We're gonna be doing the
sweet.
So we'll be
Okay.
doing
Up and
that
coming
on
episodes
the
over there
location
at the
here.
dojo.
Yeah, big shout out to Rob. Big shout out to John Jay.
Oh,
I'll tell
yeah.
you what, man. A conversation with those two. We've had some conversations
Well, that'll
that
have to
just
be
can't
probably
wait.
like a 2-parter. I
blow
think,
your
to be able to get
mind,
through
man.
that.
So
For
fun.
sure.
We'll
So
talk
fun.
about it. We'll
Yeah.
plan it out. That's
Coming
all
up
good.
this weekend also, I know our friend Frank Dancy is going to be at Captain Jack's in Turpin Springs on Friday from about 5 p.m. he starts. I also want to give a shout out to Frankie Ray. She's going to also be on our podcast coming up very soon. Frankie Ray Music. She is putting on a live stream at 6 p.m. on the 21st, which is Monday. The show is on G7, the Capo Company. So
The Capo
Capo
Company,
see,
yeah.
Look at that.
And did you
Look at
guys?
that.
And
It's a
you guys
Capo
realize
line.
See,
Frank?
I'm going
Capo
more
Company.
with the Latin type.
G7.
Capo.
You guys realize Frankie Ray is featured on "If I Wake Up Tomorrow" on the brand new album?
Ooh,
that.
something our audience might not have known.
Yeah, Frankie Ray is.
I didn't know that one
She is the first and only artist I've ever featured on one of my albums.
Look at that.
Ever.
She's
like,
a badass.
Shut
Yeah, dude, she's good, man. Like, she
Listen,
really is good. She
played
has
at
a
our
solid
wedding
voice. She's
for us.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Does she?
She
No
did.
kidding, man. Yeah.
She played at
Yeah,
our wedding.
and her original music, sometimes I'm like, you know,
her album,
I am
Brave?
not easily impressed by songwriting. Like, I'm not. I tear people up 100 times over.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people do the same shit to me.
Okay.
But
of course.
I'm just saying that I literally am not easy to impress with songwriting, and Frankie Ray
Blows it up.
is a good freaking songwriter, man. I literally have listened to some of her albums straight through, and I'm telling you, that does not happen.
Yeah, it's crazy.
very
We're going to be
often
talking
at all.
about her new album, Brave,
super
and her
nice
music
person.
video that
Definitely
she just
check out
released.
her music, Frankie Ray
Yep.
music. It's Frankie with an I-E,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes, correct.
R-A-Y-E music. Definitely check her stuff out. Listen to original music. I am telling you right now, I'm critical as shit. You're going to love it.
Yeah,
it's
she's amazing.
really good
She's
stuff.
definitely
amazing.
something else, and we can't wait to have her over. Again, brother, cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah,
It's time for a
absolutely.
refill.
This is Social
Absolutely.
Thank
Podcast,
you.
guys. Thank you for
Social
tuning in.
Banter.
Social Banter
Social
Podcast.
This is Social Banter Podcast, guys. We love you, and we're out. This is Beach by Greg White Jr., guys. Beach by Greg White Jr. Check it out.
My buddy said, hey buddy, why you posting all that stuff? I get that it makes you feel better, but enough's enough. Everybody's working hard, knee deep in the grind. Why you gotta air it all out there when you're having a hard time? I said life's a little rough, too far from the sand. So when I got something to say, hell, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna beach till it's good. I'll beach today a little more than I normally would. If you don't wanna see it, hear it, then you better stay off Instagram. I'm gonna beach. 'Cause that's just who I am. Yup. He said, it's a little awkward when you're showing off your hammock. Next post I see beer and lime. I was thinking, well now damn it. Looking at her pay stub, thinking, well that does it. So I went and told that boss man he can take this job and shove it. 'Cause life is a little rough, too far from the tiki bar. Now when I'm feeling miserable and life gets too damn hard, I just beach till it's good. I'll beach today a little more than I normally would. If you don't wanna see it, hear it, then you better stay off Instagram. I'm gonna beach. 'Cause that's just who I am. Yup. Why's the sun so bright? Why's the weather so nice? Why's my cup so damn full of rum and ice? Why's the sky so blue? Why these trees so green? Why's my truck look so damn good parked down by the sea? I'm on a beach. How I roll. Gonna tag everyone on Facebook so everybody knows when I beach. Life is good. I'll beach today a little more than I probably should. If you don't wanna see it, hear it, then you better stay off Instagram. I'm gonna beach. 'Cause that's just who I am. Oh yeah. Beach. I keep on beaching. I mean, obviously everybody likes seeing you beach. That post got like 37 double taps in the first minute.